Hey y'all.
I'm back again with another journal that I finished up, and still working on a bunch more. So hopefully in the next week I'll have probably 4 more little golden books, 3 little small little, I think they're little wonder books, and the fabric journals, the jean journals with the birds on them. So I'm just trying to finish up little details on those, and they'll be ready for the shop. And then working on 3 custom journals too. So I've been busy, and I've got some other videos I want to do. I want to do sort of a tutorial, or just kind of show you how I did the fabric cover journals with the file folders and stuff. So that's in the works too. So, I've just been busy, trying to keep busy, still working remote from home. I don't know how much longer that's going to be. But anyway, I hope you all are well and taking care of yourself and trying to keep busy and try not to go crazy during this crazy time with all this coronavirus stuff. Anyway, I'm just trying to keep myself busy, so I don't go nuts. But I made another one of these journals out of a jacket cover, and this one is Toot and Puddles ABCs. ABC, really cute. The little story is actually by Holly Hobby, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if that's the original Holly Hobby, or that's just, I don't know. But anyway, so I thought this cover was really cute, and I do have another one, so I may eventually make another one like this out of that cover. This one is a little bit smaller, or a different size than the last one. A little bit shorter, the cover is. So it's about 8 3/4 by 8, which is a really cool size. And I've just packed it full of fun papers and a bunch of extra goodies. And I did the charm. I did a tassel charm, and literally I went through my scrap box, y'all. Okay, so like my scrap strips, there's some silk ribbon, there's some seam binding, there's some other fabrics, fabric strips in here, there's some rickrack, some baker's twine, and I need to knock this off. This will come undone on you sometimes if you don't tie like a little knot in it. I need to do that on both sides. I don't know why it does that. Anyway, and then I added the other charm too with a bunch of fun game pieces. These are some vintage wood dominoes that I found on eBay a while back, and I finally got some bells added to those. And then other little game pieces, domino, some of my one of my Rapp keys. This is from a piece of jewelry that I had. This is a really cool little rusty key, some vintage buttons, one of my little tiles, and another one of those little blue jewelry pieces. And up here, there's some metal buttons. This is a really cool, it's a fairly heavy metal button that I got helping a friend of mine clean out for an estate sale, and they had a bunch of buttons, and I was like, oh, I want the buttons. So he was nice enough to share those with me. And then on this tassel charm, I put one of my little handmade heart charms. It's just like several layers of paper glued together and then covered with, I inked around the edges and covered it with triple thick. And then one of my little wire wrap fabric beads with some other beads that I made a while back that still have a few of those in my stash. I'm trying to share those. And then I did the scrappy tile on this one. I did the pieces, the pieces of scraps on here. So there's quilt, there's feed sack, this was from an old drapery. This is quilt, ticking, quilt, feed sack. This is a little bit newer gingham fabric. This is like some seersucker. It's just really, really random and full of a bunch of fun fabrics and colorful ones that I thought would go good with this. And then around the edges of this one, I made a bunch of scrappy fabric washi, and I'll leave like the little edges because I love that look. So, but it's not going anywhere. It just gives you that sort of frayed look. but I put it around the edges here, and then I put pieces around, all around the book like I did the last one, down here, and then on the back on this part as well. And then this is the back of the book, and this is Toot and Puddle, and the little turtle is one of their friends. So really cute cover. And the books are really cute. I actually still have this book and the other Toot and Puddle book that I may do something with later on. I'm just trying to decide what I want to do. So inside, let me make sure I'm in frame. Okay, yeah. And this is totally removable. There's 2 binder rings. Well, there's a binder ring, and there's 2 binder rings, and then the charm is just clipped in with a little hook. So that's totally removable. So in here, I covered the inside of this one with the jean fabric. I put you a little heart paper clip here. And then there's a little goodie bag full of fun little things in here. And I'm not going to go through all that. That'll be a surprise if you purchase this journal. So there's over 100 pages in here. There's 4 signatures. And then I did something a little different in the middle of this one. I just took one of my old file folders and cut it down and stitched it up and made 2 pockets. And then I tied it in. I put the eyelet down here and the eyelet here, and I tied it in with some, like, you know, Midori, the stretchable elastic here. So you can totally remove this, and you can take some of these bigger things out if you're working on it, if you don't like, you know, all that hanging out at the top of your book. Doesn't bother me, but anyway. And then you could totally use this for something else if you want to take it out, put it somewhere else, whatever you want to do. I put scraps in here, a few scraps from the book, and then I put, there's a little bag, there's a sewing pattern. I put the cover is clipped in here, but the pattern, the actual instructions for the pattern, and then the pattern's actually in here for you to use. And then some other bits of things, some vintage wallpaper pieces, other scraps from the paper. These are some little labels I had in my stash. Some other papers that didn't make it into the journal, but that's in the middle, okay? And like I said, there's over 100 pages in here. I used the last few pages. I think I put 4 pages from that rabbit, from that tortoise and hare book in here that I really love the colors and the illustrations. Put ledger. This is like a cover page or like a flyleaf page from an old Atlas book. Kids books. I did throw like a couple of pieces of lightweight black paper in here. It's not really cardstock. It's kind of in between a printer paper and a cardstock, so it's not super thick. Some of the needlepoint pages, the gift wrap paper. This was part of a file folder that I received in a swap, and I just put a little piece of that scrappy washi tape on that. Some Edith Holden book pages, wallpaper, other kids book. I really like this one, and it's got the tape. I did not tape that. That was the tape that was in it. These are just random pages I had in my stash. And then I added some of my handmade buttons. So this one is same premise as the last one. I think I put a few more like not Edith Holden, Eloise Wilkin illustrations in here, book pages. But other than the few, the black cardstock, the black paper, not cardstock, that I put in here, and then I just stuck you a big paper clip here. I didn't use any, there is one piece of cardstock, and I think there's a piece or 2 of scrapbook paper, but the rest of it is totally upcycled. Nautical map, there's a piece of scrapbook paper, and it was actually one of my scraps that I only used bits and pieces of. So here is from my old Mother Goose, really large Mother Goose book, And I kind of folded it over if you wanted to use it as an envelope. So I tied this signature. I didn't put the buttons in there. I think this might be, I have 1 or 2 more pieces of that nautical map, and I really would like to find another one of those, but I have not been successful at finding that because I think they're fairly rare, and a lot of times people will keep them. Here's another one of the pages from that book. The illustrations in this are just so cool, and the paper is really nice. And the tortoise and hare. This is a piece of ledger. It's a railroad ledger that Jessica Rapp sent me some, and this is a bag. It's like a glassine bag, big bag that I cut off the top, and then the bottom part's there, so you can use it as a slide pocket, or you can staple this up here or glue it or add some of that washi, because I'm going to include, I think I included some fabric washi in here to make that pocket, or you can just keep it like a tuck. This is a really cool kids book that I had that the paper is really nice. It's that matte paper. This is from the larger book. Oh, they made the little goat, Scuffy the tugboat. I had a big book like that. More vintage ledger. I think this came from Renee. This was some of that cool drafting paper that I got from Amy at Darkwood Sanctuary. I made it into pockets, but I didn't seal it. I figured I'd let you do what you want to with it. More of my handmade buttons. This is also from the Big Mother Goose book. Just tried to put fun, colorful, different things in here. This is the railroad ledger, and I just folded it up because it was so big to kind of make a pocket. And yeah, it's cool. I just think these types of junk journals are really fun. Just so much you can do with them, and you can just use it as a everyday. You can use it as an art journal. You could use it as sort of a glue book, or just a regular, your regular daily journal or monthly journal, however you journal. So here's another, that 4th page from the tortoise and the hare. This was actually the cover page on the front, and there's the rabbit. Here is the pattern. The little pocket that the envelope that the pattern goes in. I don't know how old that one is. I don't think it's one of the super old ones. Maybe from the late 70s, early 80s, maybe. No. These things weren't cheap. It might be early 80s. But I thought that was kind of cool. Love these pages from the from like the needlepoint books. This was another Mother Goose book. And this was like the what they call the legend page from the map book. And this was from another vintage kids book. This was just some scrap kind of painty paper. I don't think it's paint though. I think it's like that Heidi Swap gold color shine stuff that I was messing around with to make a background. I never really did anything with it. Richard Scarry. More of the needlepoint book. This is another page from Scuffy the tugboat, and then 2 more of my handmade buttons, and they're different, on each side. And you can totally cut these out of here if you don't want them in here and use them on another project. And you can do that with any of this stuff. You can tear pages out of here, whatever you want to do. Dick and Jane. And more needlepoint page. Black paper and music. And then that's the other side of that. And then I also added one of the like the little kind of baker's bags, bakery bags. They're a nice bakery bag, and they seal up here. And then I put I put you some fabric washi in here, some of my fabric flowers, some yo-yo flowers, and just a bunch of other goodies in here. And then there are some punched butterflies and some other pages, envelope. And then I just stuck, I kind of played around with a bunch of the covers and stuff that I had left over from some old golden books. And this was in my stash and I had just stitched around this, but this would be a cool writing board. I didn't do anything to it. You could decorate this side. You could add ribbon. You could use this as something else. I just thought it was kind of cool. You know, one of those leftover things to use in here. And then there's some, these were a couple of other little scraps that I didn't end up adding on the tassel, but there's some little red pom-pom and white pom-pom, some yellow rick-rack, and just a couple of other little scraps that I thought I would just clip in here with this little bird that, these are really cool. I didn't finish these. It's just a little wood bird that I inked and put an eye on, and I glued them on this clothespin. So these are cute, you know, to use in books, or if you want to finish decorating, like paint this, put a magnet on the back. It's great to put on your fridge and put notes on, or use it in your book, or whatever. You know, this is totally using up my stash here, okay? And trying to offer you guys something fun to journal with or play with, or, you know, all of this is totally, you could use it similar to a flow journal if you wanted to, you know, take it apart and use it that way, or use it just like a journal. It's totally up to you, but just tons and tons of fun stuff. I love these. I love using up my stuff this way, and you know, it's just fun. And this also will wrap around like I did the other one. You could totally tie it, just tie it around and make a bow if you want to. But I just did it like this. This is, to me, is easier than fiddling with the bow sometimes. But anyway, so this one, when this video goes up, this will be available in my Etsy shop. And thanks for stopping by and watching. I hope I was in frame for all that. And I apologize for my light. It's kind of overcast today, and then I've got my lamps on, so there might be a little bit of shadows and stuff in here, but hopefully you can see it okay and you get the idea, and you like it. And I will be back soon with some other videos. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.